There are people on this planet like you and me who have their dreams and aspirations and even fantasies, but by and large, we still live in the real world. And then there are those who live in a parallel universe, a place and time completely unconnected with the real world. Less than 24 hours ago, the banned outfit Sikhs for Justice held a Khalistan referendum in London in Westminster. The event witnessed long queues of a few thousand British Khalistanis at the Queen Elizabeth Centre in Westminster. These people had ostensibly turned up to vote and decide the fate of nearly 2.8 crore people of Punjab. Well, I request everyone not to laugh, please. Yes, such an event did happen. These people did vote. Never mind, they voted for which government or authority, no one really knows. Your guess is as good as mine. The fact is, no one recognizes their referendum, but was rationality ever a strong point in the Khalistan movement? While all these fantastical activities were taking place in faraway Britain, closer home in India, again less than 24 hours ago, there was an innocuous program aired on social media titled क्या महिला वोट से मुख्यमंत्री बनेगी Priyanka Gandhi. The program was anchored by Arfa Khanum of The Wire. For those who are unaware, this lady has made a career in vilifying and abusing the Modi government and especially the Prime Minister on real and imaginary issues. She does this in every program she anchors. And yet, measured against her own dubious record, the program on Priyanka Gandhi was a real flight of fancy, a kind of Bezos rocket shot off in space to a parallel universe which exists only in some people's imagination in a kind of a la fantasy. Ms. Khanum's projection of Priyanka Gandhi as a strong chief minister candidate who is making waves in Uttar Pradesh is of course contrary to all honest projections that show the Congress being nowhere in the forthcoming UP elections. But then why should dishonest anchoring bother us? In short, why should we care or give importance to what some thousand Khalistanis do in the United Kingdom or a biased anchor says back home? Especially because the fulminations of such people eventually come to nothing really. My contention, however, is that we should care and take note of these developments because it is one thing to laugh at the idiocy of people making a fool of themselves in a parallel universe, but it stops being a laughing matter when the same idiocy starts affecting the lives of ordinary people in the real universe. Hi, and welcome all to the CAA show. My name is Juggi Bhasin. CAA is, of course, conversations and analysis. Let us take up the Khalistan referendum first. We can crack jokes at it and dismiss it as a workings of individuals who are irrelevant and insignificant, but that would be a mistake. Fact is, nearly 30,000 people turned up at this referendum. That's a pretty significant number in a small country like England. It goes without saying that most of these people have been brainwashed by the Khalistan propaganda. It should also be naturally assumed that many of these people have families back home in Punjab, and in the course of their travels to India, they would be spreading the poison of separatism. Punjab, as we all know, is going through huge instability and tough times presently. The potential of a separatist vote, whether carried out in a parallel lunatic universe, can still muddy the waters and create more unrest and disaffection in Punjab. The intermingling of such people with the striking farmers can create further unrest. I would not be stretching the point that these developments are the precursor or even the spark that ignites terrorist incidents in the real world. Can we forget that in June 1985, the same combination of terrorists and separatists placed a bomb on board Air India Flight 182 that killed 329 innocent passengers? I brought up the issue of Arfa Khanum's biased programming because in a similar manner, she is creating disaffection and radicalizing the minority community. Not a day passes when she does not spin out fabricated stories of victimhood and so called oppression of the minority community. Keep in mind, the Khalistanis in England and the US also operate in the same way. They created fear, doubt, and anger in the minds of innocents and radicalized them. The common link between a dishonest program and Khalistani overreach overseas is that it is targeted at the minority communities. The objective is to create so much hatred that after a point, anything is possible. Flight 182 happened in 1985. To think that the spread of hate and intellectual dishonesty will never metastasize in human tragedy is a fallacy. There are too many cynical people out there who wait only for the worst to happen to realize their objectives. And on this note, we come to the end of this episode, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the CAA show. If you like our show, please do subscribe to us. Until next time, it is goodbye and cheers from me.